Welcome back to What's New. By now, you've likely heard the Browns have placed 3 more players on that COVID-19 reserve list. This comes just 4 days before Sunday's game with the Eagles. The voice of the Browns, Jimmy Donovan, joins us now with more on that. Hey, Jimmy, certainly not good news.
No, it isn't, Jay, but it's kind of getting to be the norm, not only in Berea, but all around the NFL. So let's go through it. We get the news today that 3 players on the Browns roster currently now have been put on the COVID-19 reserve list, not because they tested positive, but instead because they came in close contact with someone who did. Here are the 3 players, and they're all important. They're all important for these all-important games now. The Browns starting right tackle Jack Conklin is out right now. Charlie Hewlett, who is the long snapper on special teams, and the Browns place kicker, Cody Parkey. Now, remember, the Browns have had 2 players test positive, and they remain out right now. That's the tackle Chris Hubbard, whose positive test came back last Friday, and, of course, the fullback Andy Janovich. His positive test came back on Monday. Now, these players continue to show no symptoms right now, the 3 players that we have up on the screen right now. If they continue to have negative testing, then there's a good chance they will play on Sunday against the Philadelphia Eagles. That is the bright spot right now. Now, they're all important, but the Browns have taken some insurance out on if they lost their kicker. Cody Parkey is their kicker right now, and here he is, and he's having a great year. He is right now 11 for 12 on field goals, and he's only missed 1 extra point. But in the preseason, leading up to the regular season, the Browns took out a little insurance policy, and they signed a kicker, Matthew McCrane. He's the backup kicker, and put him on the practice squad. So if Parkey comes up with a negative test and can't be part of the Browns' active roster on Sunday, then McCrane would be elevated from the practice squad. He would become their kicker. It's interesting, Jay, a couple of years ago, Baker Mayfield's first regular season start came against the Oakland Raiders in a wild game out west in the Coliseum. And Matt McCrane beat the Browns in overtime with a relatively short field goal, and that was his first game in the NFL. Now he could be kicking for them on Sunday. But right now, as I was out at practice today, there was a strong feeling that these three players, at least, not necessarily Hubbard and Janovich, they will not be available, but these 3 players who were put on the reserve list will be okay and have a good chance of being available Sunday. One other note, Jay, Myles Garrett under the weather today, not COVID-related. He was kept at home following the NFL protocols. They feel he'll be fine and ready to go and bring his 9.5 sacks to the stadium on Sunday.
Yeah, and they're going to be needed for sure. Quickly, before we let you go, I noticed late this afternoon that Roger Goodell taking the step to heighten all NFL teams. All 32 teams now are basically at DEFCON red. They're taking all of the extreme measures that early on only teams with outbreaks were taking. So the NFL certainly taking this very seriously.
Yeah, because right now, Jay, you're getting to the point where really the last level of teams that would have their bye week, they're going to have their bye week, and then all of the teams will be done with bye weeks, so you really can't jockey around with the schedule any longer. How about this, Jay? The Las Vegas Raiders getting set for a huge game this weekend against Kansas City. Their entire, I underline, their entire defense, as of right now, was put on the COVID reserve list.
Wow. Well, that would certainly scratch their game. It'd be impossible to take the field without a defense. Okay, that's something we'll certainly keep an eye on. By the way, the Raiders, one of 4 or 5 teams that the Browns are jockeying with for one of those wild card spots. Jimmy, great information. We'll see you at 6.
Absolutely. Thanks, Jay. Good talking to you.
You bet.